this around like this, and then make sure that is pointed towards my face, but not like so close that it's just weird. Hopefully that's good. Test, test, test. Hopefully it's not the worst. All right, boom, bam. That's good. That's a little bit too. I need to zoom in a little bit because I'm blind. It's not that I'm like 7 feet back trying to read. All right, bang. That's good. And then this. Wrong one. Fuck. Damn it. God damn it. Hello. I did VR today. That's why my hair looks a little messy and shit. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? It is Saturday, and oh boy, I wanted to look at some gameplay, so I just threw up some heavily modded Fallout 5, or Fallout 4, sorry. And I wanted to get VR, but there wasn't one. Unfortunately, it cost like a NASA computer to run. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, how are you? Hopefully you're doing good. Today, we are going to be talking about anything and everything. Hopefully, guys, week went pretty good. Lone, do you ever get that thing sorted? Those goddamn tax bullshittery thing fixed? Or it's not something you can really fix. It's just something you gotta tank. You gotta take a good old punch to the chest and be like, alright, well, things could have went worse, I guess. Also, I'll turn this down by 1 tick. There we go. Alrighty. Oh man, I had this morning where I just finished recording a VR Fallout video. I did it yesterday, but I didn't like record all the stuff. I didn't really like how it ended up coming out because I was very much like, what do I do? I don't know what really we should be doing. But I went there again, and today, man, it was so much more fun. Because the whole idea that I have for this video is, I see a lot of people who make, like, I don't want to be a way about it, but there's a lot of people who basically capitalize on current trends, which is totally fine, by the way. I don't have any issue with people being like, hey, I'm really into Fallout 4 because I just seen the trailer or the season, and I love it, and I want to talk to someone about it. That's totally fine. But to me, maybe it's because, like, I told you guys beforehand, where it's like I have this natural urge when I see something that's already done to not want to do it. Like if there's like already a person making content of something, I don't have it. It completely robs me of the desire to actually pursue it, right? So for me, what I ended up doing is I ended up having to like up the ante or make the idea like kind of better in a way, like trying to make it worth it. Like, why would I do this if it already exists? Well, if I made it much better, then that doesn't exist anymore, and I can make it. But what do you call it? So I went and did this video for Fallout, and I wanted to do this VR Fallout video. But I like Fallout, but my favorite Fallout of all time is New Vegas. It's not even close. It's just so good. And to me, it always has puzzled me like to no end why Bethesda chose to basically make a VR port for a game that came out like a couple years ago. Like it was like a 2-year-old game, and they were like, let's put a VR port on it. And it's just weird. Whereas, like, if you were to like make the most amount of money, I think you would go back and VRify one of the most beloved games that also is old enough to run really well now. Like the fact that you take something that's basically like modern PCs are able to run but not well, and then you're like, let's slap VR into that, and you're like, well, yeah, it's going to be impossible to run because it's modern day. But if you go back and you mod in or you create VR essentially plug in to go into that game, that feels much more like it makes more sense because it's an older tech. The textures aren't crazy, all that stuff. And also, it would be a way for people to actually like immerse themselves into a game that's already really immersive. So to me, it always puzzled me why they chose Fallout 4 and not Fallout New Vegas. Maybe it's like the jumping to engines just costs so much, bandwidth. Like it's actually easier for them to take their existing engine and just tack on this thing that they already maybe have like planned for, than to go back and like integrate the VR thing into that. I can't see how that's true though, because I know like modders who have just like VRified Fallout New Vegas without the things like hands and like some like stability things, but largely they do it. So if one modder can basically do that whole thing, I don't think that's a fair assessment, although I agree that it's a variable. But anyways, the one thing that to me I want to see is how good, because I like to ask that question a lot for myself. Like, would this actually work? Like, does this actually, should this exist? Like, people talk about Fallout this and that, and people want all these things, but would you having like physics in a Fallout game be actually something that you'd want? And oh my god, dude, especially having like I basically did like a part 2 in my head of like, okay, I filmed a little bit yesterday, I'm going to film more today. And in that, I want to try to answer that question just for me, just like selfishly, just for me. Because I had like this whole story planned out, but then that was much more of an interesting question to me. So the next time, oh my god, dude, I think it would be one of the best games of all time easily. It would be so good. Like I can't even describe to you guys how well, like a physics-esque engine, not even a physics engine, just the idea that basically you have an avatar where you scale things. So like in Bone Lab, you can have an avatar that's like really strong. And in Fallout, it's kind of like strength means relatively nothing. Like you can hold more stuff. When you punch something, you like do a little more damage. But in VR, if you have a sufficient strength, you can pick up a ghoul by the head, grab him by the hip, and then like smash him into a wall, combusting his skull. Like that. That's the level of like, holy fuck, strength is an amazing stat. Also, this is kind of like in a physics engine kind of stuff, but it wouldn't even have to be that way. You just have to code in like grab mechanics or like something akin to that. And yeah, but like being able to hoist yourself up like a wall or something like that, or being able to like grab for longer and stuff like that would work so well, and that could scale off of agility. And there's things like stealth could be a massive factor of you like getting lower and giving a value proposition to actually like crouching and all that kind of stuff. Gun stability, like your character could have a natural like weakness in the hands or like a rock to his hands whenever you're aiming down a crosshair, and that agility could make that much more tight. Things like that, or not agility. It would be I think it's endurance. I don't know what effect. I think it's agility that affects like your ability to hold a gun still. Regardless, the more I put my like avatar in those situations, man, it was just so much more fun. And again, I can't wait for you guys to see it because maybe it's just me. Maybe I gotta like do a point to like tell people to do this. But like, if you're watching this video, try to constantly think about it in regards to being a Fallout game. So like, despite I'm trying to create the illusion in some small way of this being a Fallout, like, of this being like a Fallout game, it's still Bone Lab. Like you can tell it's Bone Lab. What do you call it? To me, like I want people to kind of start thinking about how it just basically how it can be. Like if you were to think about this, it'd be so cool. It'd be the coolest thing ever, you know. Anyways, I'm sorry to ramble a little bit, but I thought that was so fun. Such a fun thing. Again, I wish so badly that I could give like Lone or Fluff or Red or anybody, Raidenade, Bolty, Nanny, anyone who did the ability just to like feel that, because I don't know if it translates in the video. I think it's like, oh, that's kind of cool, but like the feeling of doing it, and you're like, wow, I can't even believe that the thing I thought to do is so easily doable, and how satisfying that is. Yeah. Anyways, Lone says, "What's up, Grin? We're not too much, Lone. What about you?" Lone says, "I tried, called, didn't work. Sent an email. I have to wait for a reply." Yeah, man, you're in that like loop of like just waiting. Yeah, it's one of the things that sucks about having kind of like an issue like that, is it just seems like you're sitting there just churning water for such a long time, and it's just annoying as hell. Just trying to basically get anyone, like that's one of the things that's like, especially in regards to YouTube and stuff like that. It's one of the reasons why, like, to me, if I can, I want to be as like mindful as possible to avoid ever like even slightly being in the way against YouTube. You know what I mean? Like basically, there's a rule that YouTube has where it's like, don't show any violence within the first 30 seconds. So like you don't like basically fuck up advertisers. And a lot of people push this, and like you can kind of average out like 2 fuck ups for every 6 good ones you do, and you can get by pretty fast. I don't want to do any of that because it's such a nightmare to get a hold of YouTube in general. Like it's a joke that you have to like basically use your mob mentality of Twitter essentially to like bombard the one guy running the YouTube help app, or tweeting account, or X account. It sounds like exact stuff. Anyways, weird name change. Yeah. The point is that it's crazy, and it doesn't make the most sense. And it sucks, especially with that with like legal shows. Like YouTube stuff can be shitty because it's like your business's stability is at jeopardy. But when it comes to like taxes and shit, that's like actual dollar bills. It like is right in your hands. That could not be or could be. Yeesh. Sketchy, Lone. Also, Lone, what games have you been playing this week, man? I know Nikita's probably on that list. I know you've been drawing. Hope you haven't been running yourself ragged with the drawing. Hopefully, you're giving yourself some space to breathe. You're also dealing with all this bullshit, so I imagine it's kind of hard to even like. I'm not sure if you're like me, Lone, but I find like the way you described it yesterday, of like you had this encounter with your taxes issues, and then you're like, I was fucking frustrated and a little bit worried the whole day, and then I came home, played some Nikita, got on my head a little bit, and then I'm not in a nightmare anymore. But yeah, man, I'm in a similar way, because I find it's very hard for me to like. I'll obsess over things. Like, I can never forget, man, the day that my PC just stopped working. I know it sounds stupid to some people, but like my everything is on like my PC. As far as like my whole like editing is something huge for me. Not having videos out consistently is something that drives me nuts. All those kinds of things, right? So it's just like a huge point of terror. So when you're like, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to fix this, or like if this is just a big problem. I couldn't do anything but think about it and worry about it, which is shitty because it does not like it helps a lot. Like you being terrified and like dreading shit is not helping. um, but it's the brain. Um, Most likely something I just got to tank and move on. Yeah, well, I wouldn't give up on that, especially tax stuff. I mean, it depends on how much. I don't know what your situation is, Loan, but I don't know if it's like you lost a shit ton of money or if it's whatever it could be. But if it's a sufficient amount of money, fucking attack. Attack, you know? That could be 5 gamer cups you could take, okay? Or gamer subs cups. It's funny because dude, I don't think like gamer subs. I feel like should change its name because it is not very. I mean, I guess it's kind of gamer, but it's much more like anime degeneracy as like a. I don't mean that in a negative way entirely. More like anime risque stuff. It's way more anime than it is gaming. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because like every one of the cups is not like it's not like they do like a different art style that's not anime. Very rarely is that the case, if ever. The only one that kind of is a little bit different is Hobbies. Hobbies Gamer Subs Cup was more of like a World War II pinup girl, which looked a little bit more like less anime, more like an American stylized art type thing. Also, what's good, Nub? I'll tell you one thing. Lone says the money I'm not really worried about, but what had me annoyed was the schedule. A payment that was supposed to come out on X day, and it didn't come out that day, so I paid it Ooh, okay, yeah, that's terrible. That was to avoid payment for being late, only for them to take the payment 3 days later. Yeah, man, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Yeah. Also, Nub says, I am so petty that I made a point to make a video to just call a single person out for being super dumb. What? What happened, Nub? What are you talking about? Give me an update. Why? Why have you chosen violence? Nub says, also, what's good like it, though? Evergreen? What's evergreen mean? Like it, throw? What's that mean? Or is that referring to maybe what Nub's saying? Only to find out that the thing I have to use in the game is bugged and got second opinion on the game Discord that it's broken and doesn't work. So I called him out yet. So I can't call him out yet. Got it. I feel like I'm missing a chunk of what the story is. I feel like I'm jumping in halfway and I'm like, okay, yeah, yes. Also, this is a very deep cut. I finally, I seen a comment like today, and it was talking about like BioShock Burial at Sea and like how the ending was so like sad. And I never really watched it because I heard it was sad, and I thought, fuck it, I'm feeling brave today. I watched it. It's not as sad as you might think. It's sad, but it's just it makes the number one guy like BioShock 1 better. Burial Sea just makes BioShock 1 significantly more a better game essentially, which I already thought it was one of like the most perfect games ever, BioShock, especially for its time. Nub says gamers are weebs. You're the only non-weeb gamer. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I am. Absolutely not. I would consider myself to be that quite a bit, but I don't know if I agree with that. No, it's a very high. It's higher than 60% probably of like conversion of gamer and that. But why don't they call it anime? Because it's just so much more anime than it is gaming. Can we at least agree that gamer subs is more about anime than it is about gaming? So it's weird that it's gamer subs. Locust says, Grin, damn phone has mind of its own. Okay, gotcha. Is that what you said, evergreen? Like, evening grin? Is that what you were trying to say? Like it says, sometimes he predicts stuff, gets me surprised. Damn phone has a mind of its own, but sometimes it predicts stuff, got a mind of its own. Okay, all right. Demon phone, got it. Nub says, some guy had to head into another stream I was playing. the game with and started the argument with I have 400 hours, uh, and he, Nub, doesn't know that he's talking what he's talking about. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing that's constant. Like hours in a game does not mean knowledge about a game at all. Like you can have like I have played an absolutely disgusting amount of Let It Die. Let's just say Let It Die. Um, I would give Fluff maybe 2 months, and I guarantee Fluff would know infinitely more than me, because Fluff has got a weird brain for like that shit, just like complexity essentially, and like density of information. And yeah, and yeah. Now it says, and then proceeds to say something really dumb. So I'm going around getting clips of things that prove him. Oh no. No. Oh my god. Hey, no, you get it. You get after it, buddy. I'm not judging you, but I will say when I read that aloud, did you hear it too? Of like the this random McA-hole online is saying stupid shit, and you're like, I'm gonna spend essentially like an hour or 2 hours getting data on him just to fucking slam him, just for hopefully hopefully it impacts in some way. I'm not sure how big the streamer is, but yeah, that's just a very yeah, I don't know. If I didn't know you, Nub, I'd be like, just Nub, go fucking like watch a TV show or something, go play a game. But knowing you, it's like, no, this is your best course. this is your best outlet for sure. um, Lone says that was to avoid the payment being late. Right, late. Lone says, I played some more Stellar Blade. Have you beat it yet? Stellar Blade also started playing Hitman Absolution. Oh, okay, yeah, the Hitman series. Are you binging the Hitman series? Because damn, there be a lot of games. Did some drawing. Speaking of which, I worked on the concept cup design we talked about a few days ago. I want to know if you actually got, because the one thing I don't know if I made sense of is like the hot zones essentially, which like same thing with the one Nub. I don't know if you heard about are never going to happen, but I wanted to think about it because Nub at Lone asked me a great question because he always does. A cup, Gamer Subs cup. What would our Gamer Subs cup? I'm wondering, you probably missed it, but holy shit, is our idea efficient? All right, efficient. Um, but yeah, I can't wait. We'll talk about it in a few days. Awesome. Awesome. Did you like get the outline or something like that? Because that's one thing I think is difficult. That'd be like the tune-up process, which would probably be a nightmare for the artist. But it's basically trying to find like what shot gets the angle that I want essentially. And I think it's possible, albeit a little tricky essentially. Also, I don't know how you would. Yeah, you'd require a person who knows a great deal. So like the one is the like lower camera shot up with the dead leg ab, except yeah, face a little bit, but smaller, less of the hot zone. We're not where the eye is supposed to go. Anyways, that one's, I feel like that would actually be like a different issue of just getting the camera angle right of like the shot that it's being taken. That one's fine. The one where like it's the what do you call it, tomboy aesthetic, where she's doing the classic anime best friend like leg curl suplex thing. That one I feel like would be hard because you kind of gotta like draw his arms going through her like this essentially, like you gotta get his legs going through her arm and then pulling back like that. I feel like it'd be very weird, and maybe you would just basically show booba, I don't know, in like a foot like over here to show that. I don't know. It seems complicated. Godspeed, Lon. Godspeed. Lump says, I told you that yours would be a mug one. I don't know if I want to be a mug. I like the why. I mean, I get the why. But hey, by the way, guys, you haven't done this in millennia. Guess what? Mug of the sitting. It's so bright you can't see it, but this one's been with me forever. I love it. It's like a honeycomb shape. Love it. Anyways, yeah, I don't. The thing with that though is, man, I like the shaker cups. Like the only thing that would kind of be epic is if we had a handle. I would love a handle on the shaker cup. That'd be nice. Like if it wasn't. I feel like it'd be a kind of annoying. It'd be cringe a little bit. Anyways, but yes, I like a shaker. I could use it for protein and all that stuff. Although I don't know if you could, because I think the top part's like meshed. So I think you just get like protein gunk on top of the lid, and you have to clean it. It'd be a pain in the ass. I am debating if I want to do a video in all the languages I know just so I can insult him more. That would be the ultimate play nub if you did go that far. At that point, it becomes respect. At that point, it becomes more than a message. Okay? How many languages do you know? Do you know French and like English? I imagine maybe one other one. I don't know. For Canadians, it's usually two: French and English, and then maybe Spanish sometimes. I learned none of it because ignorance, I guess. Something like a virtual mugging. What? I don't know if I would know. I feel like Nub. If you heard our idea, which I said at the very end of last Destiny stream, you're not gonna look it up. It's fine. Um, it is great. All right. It is to me my interest, what I like, what I think you like, what I think other people like as well. The layout, I think I actually did pretty good. I did rob me of like 3 hours of sleep as I was sleeping, and then Lone's question popped into my head, and I'm like, why am I thinking about this? We don't have no hope and chance to get this cup released right now. And yeah, and then I thought about it for like far too long. Nub says, you can't go no, not a mug, then immediately go for mug of the. I know, I don't. Not that I don't remember what it is. It's just that it would be a weird like thing. It would like if you were to take, hey, do you want to buy a cup, a fucking mug that you can buy for like $2 that just has a gross anime girl splattered on the side of it? Yuck. Okay, or an actual shaker cup that you could use for your gamer stuff as well as protein, as well as it's more societally acceptable than just holding like a plastic cup, I guess. Also, man, I don't know what it is, but golly, man, I don't know. The next generation. All right, I'm millennial. All right, I'm not here to boast about my generation, whatever. All right, but I have nephews, nieces across the board. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but they're like, it's brutal, man. Every other week, they're like, one of them is severely sick, and I'm not like judging them. This is just a shitty like outcome. And then my cousins and whatnot are going through it. One of them has like pneumonia or something. And I think, I mean, maybe we all look. I have a pretty good memory though, and I'm pretty like what is it called? Critical. So when I look back at when you guys look back at your childhood, I don't remember getting that sick all the time, or having like any sort of severe things. The only thing I had once was I ate like a taco with seasoning on it that apparently I was allergic to, and my throat closed up, and they had to run me into the hospital, except they didn't. All I remember is getting an EpiPen shot in the ass, and it hurts a lot, actually. It's ass, you think you'd have a lot of like, I mean, no, it actually hurt very much. And then I got rushed to the emergency room, and I kind of don't remember anything after that. But I'm here, so I guess we worked it out. But that was like the one event, and we were doing dumb shit, man. We were doing dumb shit. I was like bombing down fucking a gigantic hill with like a toboggan. It's a sled essentially for Canada. And we were like doing that in like there would be roads. We lived in a small town. We lived in like there was like roads where like they were going up on a steep hill, and we were, I guess, just I don't know. We were so stupid. I guess we were just hoping that like no car was coming, because we would just bomb down like these fucking very steep hills, and there's like cars parked along this along this like road going upwards essentially, and we would just like drop down there, and it would go so fast. And like if we were to fuck up and like smash our head into like the tires of the cars that were parked like alongside this road, we'd be dead. Like it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, golly. Don't kill the bulb, dude. I'm sorry. I hit it. Also, I got to catch my chat. I don't want to leave the likes of those comments behind. Also, Nub says English, French, Spanish. Okay, French, Spanish. Yeah, I thought so. I nailed it. Yeah. Those are the electives you usually have in high school. Nub says I do. That's crazy. One 3 though. Usually or 2 though. Usually just 1. Nub says I do it in the American, but no one knows America. Am I reading that? Oh no, Armenian. Oh, you have Armenian. Okay. I people know Armenian. Too bad you don't know how. Yeah. Well, one sec. Too bad you don't know Hindi. Is that right? But yeah, man, the Indian channels that have like that voice or not voice that language pop off like crazy. Legatorp says, I heard there is a good chance to get Starfield VR in the future. If that's the case, would you play it, or is it not your cup of tea? I would play it. Starfield ain't worth it. So that's what we just talked about, actually. Like it was. I want to bring that. I'll talk about that in a minute. Starfield ain't worth it. You could go back of the cup B, a girl literally being held at gunpoint because it's a mug. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good enough. That's not bad. That's not a bad thing. I love that game with so much streaming of it. So also, I wish the game since launch, and I can't afford it at the moment. 45 off. Current changing kills me. $1, 5 RON. Wow, that's crazy. And 5x times better, more expensive. Putting the case to rest will earn around 500 a month hard here. Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's brutal, buddy. That's so fucked up. Sorry, guys, for being so up close. I just didn't want. I need to invest in like a $30 Amazon little scroll pad thing I can have right here. That's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth enabled. Anyways, what do you call it? Lycanthrope. To your question, to me, this is what I made. I talked about this at the very beginning of the stream, but basically, also, what's good, Mike? What's good, anime fan? That's why I talked about at the very beginning of the stream, where to me, it's so frustrating that Bethesda decided to go back and make a VR equivalent of Fallout 4, because the game was like 2 years old at the time, and then they were like, let's do a VR port. Whereas I think it would have made infinitely more sense for them to go back and make a VR port of something like New Vegas. It's a beloved series. It's old enough to where the graphics shouldn't be that taxing at all. Whereas you made like Fallout 4 ran okay, and then on with VR, I can only imagine it barely runs. So yeah, that didn't make much sense. And also, there's just so much more novelty with New Vegas for people. Like the idea that doing a VR remaster makes so much sense, because it's not just about like a remaster, which is like, hey, we made it look kind of better. Yeah, but it's like, no, we made a remaster. We made it look better, and we made it actually functional through like the most immersive way, which is like the whole thing with Fallout and Fable and Bethesda games, which is like immersion. Also, Alone says, should I give Shadow Chan a 6-pack? Or I think we want just like a nice, like, you know, when the image when people say navel, like just like they're like, it's like stomach. It's like just, I'm not sure we got 6-packs. I don't want to like, I want it to be softer, because the other girl is supposed to be like the tomboy punk rocker chick, and I don't want it to clash too much. So maybe we should go with softer. Anyway, everyone who's just coming in and like, what? Lone says, I probably got sick a few times in my childhood. Yeah, right, man. I feel like these young kids, these Zoomers and Gen X or whatever the hell, they be dropping like flies. Remember, I seen some shit a long time ago where like our genetic capacity to reproduce is just getting worse. And like a component of that might be like plastics, essentially like plastids in our bloodstream. I don't know if that was real yet, but it was like a thing where like, yeah, there's more. We're getting worse at making babies, essentially, and not just because we're all lonely and yeah and isolated. Like our actual systems are not really good anymore. Nub says, well, Nub, this Nub knows of a way to help you acquire the game in a more reasonable. I was about to say, Lycanthrope, if there was ever a man to help solve your problem, it would be Nub. Nub is the man who knows every kind of sailing the seas with an eye patch and a peg leg that you could find. Alone says, I probably got sick a few times at childhood, but nothing awful. Mike says, what's good, Mike? Mike says, hey, Grim, I got back from work, but I'm happy to be here. Let's go, Mike. We missed you, buddy. Happy to be here as well. We're talking about nothing. Talking about any bullshit you think about. Anime fan, what's good, anime fan? Anime fan says, hi, Grim. It's been a bit sorry. I've been here, been grinding. Never seen a notification that you were going like, oh, shit, sorry, man. Sometimes YouTube is a piece of shit like that. My bad. But yeah, I'm happy to have you here, buddy. Hopefully, you've been taken care of in the days that we've been apart. Mike says, both my controller broke because I changed them with fast charging 8 volts. Didn't know it was 5 volts max. Ooh, damn. Man, that sucks. Hopefully, it wasn't a good controller. It wasn't like an Elite or something. That'd be terrible. Eek. Oh, wait, let me catch up. God damn it. Twitch chat is usually quite slow. So if I get a month, which seems to be kind of starting these days. Yeah, no, I definitely not, I think you, Lycanthrope, have the best, what is it called? Reason to pirate, essentially. Like, when a game is $300, for like you guys, I'm kind of like, listen, bud, I'm gonna play this game for maybe 24 hours, and then I'm out. It's not worth essentially like yeah, half of your paycheck, if not almost all of it. Yeah, no. Nub is pretty good about knowing like all of the checks and balances of how to not get viruses via doing X Y Z. Yes. Now I think regularly pays for his big games. Funny thing is, Nub is a Canadian, which hey, we got pretty bad too. You Americans pay like $60 for a game or $50 for a game. We pay $100 at this point. God damn, I wish it was like that. Hey, um, yeah. Yeah, so what do you call it? So, Mike, you just got like a cool one of those little plug-in things, like those little tripods from Amazon, and they're like fast charging. This is a selling feature, and you're like, awesome. And meanwhile, you're like, God no. Hey man, now's the time to get to like people talk a lot of good stuff about the Elite controllers and stuff like that. Hmm. Well, I can't make the promise of no viruses because that's impossible with my method. But the chances are like 0.1. Yeah, I thought Nub basically raised it, like cut it down to a razor wire. Nub says, "Grin, this game I'm playing, I pirated it and then bought it the next day." Yeah. I was about to say Nub does have some weird thing where he's like, I'll decide. Okay, I'll decide if it's worth my dollars. And then I feel like sometimes though Nub has got to forget sometimes. Nub is like, I'm going to play this game to the point in which I can find enough bad things about it to where I feel vindicated and not and not supporting it. Oh, I feel like that's such a subconscious thing with Nub because I always ask Nub, why did you play this game for like 500 hours and you're like, it's the worst game ever? Oh, Nub, you're like one of 1,000. Let me tell you, one of 100,000. Um, it's a game. It's worth it. I'll pay for it, but I ain't paying for it before I try it. Nub says, if your game doesn't have a demo, I'm pirating it. I guess that's kind of fair. Yeah. That's maybe the good like take for like pirating stuff. I mean, his totally right now. The case we're watching so much of the game I love it, but I can't pay. Yeah, no. I definitely think it would make sense to like again, as long as you're kind of mindful of stuff like that. Like if you do pirate stuff, I think most everyone like who's not a complete idiot knows that like everyone pirates stuff. I think the goal for people is basically like you can pirate, but if you ever get the chance, and maybe not to like pay for the entire game of your insert whatever, but like you can get really lucky with like humble bundles or something like that on Steam where it's like $10, which is still probably a lot for you, given your currency and your country and stuff like that. But I still think it's like if as long as you're giving something to the people, there's hopefully that adds up to basically vindicating them making more of it. Granted, with games like Fallout 4 and New Vegas and Starfield, I feel like these are games that are like well within the billions to where it's like I don't know if you spending more money like there's a certain threshold of like this earned its money back and then some, we'll make more of this. That is probably Bethesda I don't think has ever not hit that mark. Also, sorry I didn't cash in the hydrate. I will do that. Like throw. Um Also, anime fan, what kind of games have you been playing in the meantime? I'm not sure if we were here last time, but we've been getting into Destiny 2, man. And let me tell you, holy shit, I am having a great time. Although I do just crave to go in there and just kind of feel things out. I just don't have any time these last couple of days, which is something I always say, which is just like a little bitch move. Okay. Lone says, all right, so soft tummy, I think so, but not like it has to be like a toned tummy, but no abs. Let me put that like a fit stomach, but not no abs. Does that make sense? Like maybe like that classic like it's basically like a stomach that has like a little bit of just a little bit of but it's only because there's a thin layer of fat over the abs, so that it just looks like there's like this like indentation pop out. You know what I mean? But it's not like the cut fucking 8 stack essentially. Does that make sense? It makes sense. We're locked in right now. Like it says, judge me if you can, but if you get yourself in my shoes, No, I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone. I haven't heard anyone who judges, especially nowadays, dude. I like now. I have it's so many people because of the whole like streaming service nightmare where it used to be like, oh, you pay like $10 for Netflix and you get almost all the shit you need and you're good. And then Netflix is like, we need to like charge them so much more, provide them less, and make and change every fundamental story possible, completely making content for not who is actually paying us, but instead what we want. And that's such a good idea. And yeah, and now it's like now there's 15 different things. I'm kind of back into pirating if I'm honest, with the one exception being anime. Just because Crunchyroll, as much as it may have some scummy things there, I don't know people have a bunch of stuff. To me, it's a pretty good value prop of just like one thing and then locked in. You know what I mean? Bang. Anime says, I'm also finally reached floor 23. Ooh, you about to feel it? 23 is the point, my dude. And let it die, but your guides, and now I need tons of mats. It's always when the game starts to get good, too. I was about to say, man, if there was one weakness in the guides I made, it's probably level 23 because I was out here dying. 23 was one of the worst things because I guess I did say, I think in one of my guides, I did make a point to be like, these are the weapons you should level up because they're the weapons that can be leveled with the materials on these floor ranges. If you level up these weapons, which are really good, they basically skip 23, meaning that like you can't get the mats to level them up. There's ways you can do it with like event quests and stuff like that where you get certain materials, so I'm sure it's easier if you're just looking. But that was the one weakness I think in my guides that I did, where I just because to me it was like I was fighting for my life just to be able to climb at that point. I couldn't really like it's almost like the problem is so overwhelming that you're just trying to get yourself through. So like the idea that you're going to perfectly cater the experience to tell everyone else how they could probably much more easily get through is just unheard of. But yeah, I'm happy you're getting some use out of those guides. I've been playing Destiny. Oni Girl. Who's that? Oni Girl. Sometimes Let It Die and a few rhythm games. Ooh, what do you call it? Yeah, what do you call rhythm games, man? That's interesting. I wonder. I wonder. To me, I found this one VR game that's like it's like a cool rhythm game where you're like a Viking with these giant hammers, essentially, or drumsticks. I think is what it is. And then you just have Viking drums, and you're on like a warship, essentially, like a Viking battleship, and you're just sitting there going like boom, 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 and it looks actually pretty wicked. And I thought, oh shit, maybe. It's like a weird Guitar Hero in VR. Which, by the way, some things are very strange in VR, man. You're like, okay, like to me, like half of the cool thing about Guitar Hero is you having like the tactile feelings of like hitting buttons, you know, like bang, 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 bang. So the fact that like you're in VR and you're like swinging and there's no like real impact because there's not like feedback in your controllers like there should be, and things like that. Nub says, I just tried to whisper him. This is the second time I've sent him to the site. To me or to you? Or to Lycanthrope. Nub says, K, well, I can't whisper it to you on Twitch. Message on, yeah, I was going to say Discord. Discord's things. Discord, and you want to send to the site. Second, your request for friend. Bang, bang. Easy breezy. Anime fan says, I've been playing that and that. Lone says, so you want to draw an ab looks like what? So you want drawn on abs? No. I want the basically like the. Let me put it this way. I want the fit female athlete without abs, basically, which doesn't mean not a fucking like completely locked in stomach kind of thing. Honestly, it could be whatever. I'm not really trying to. We're not trying to make her a beefy person. But those guys don't know. I'll fucking ramble about it because I'm coming across as a creep now. People who are just like running on by. Lone asked me a couple of weeks ago about a fantastic question. Lone's so good by asking questions. Especially when I'm like dying out here and I'm like, I live a boring life. I have nothing else to say to you guys. I don't have anything cool to happen to me. You guys please tell me something so we can talk about it. Anyways, Lone gave me a question and he said, hey, like GRINN, we just bought some gamer stuff as like kind of a community. Here we go. What would be your gamer subs cup if you ever had the opportunity to do it? And I thought, oh shit, I don't really know, man. And at the time we had I seen two there's two gamer cups things. Essentially, it's just like a pinup girl on a cup. Think of it like that. If you have no idea what we're talking about. But anyways, basically, There was one at the time that was like this amazing thing. I actually bought this cup. It's like a goth girl, essentially. What do you call it? Thighs out. It's like a bottom shot, essentially. She has like a tube top on, but then underneath is fishnet stocking. Except, yeah, no, it's fishnet stocking. And it's honestly, GamerSubs has a lot of like, oh my god, this is a lot. Like it's just like porn essentially. But with this one, pretty chill, not as bad. So when I actually felt more tasteful, especially if you like the goth aesthetic, it looked real cute, liked it a lot. And I enjoyed that one cup, so I bought it. Also, again, it wasn't too tame. I feel like people would judge me poorly in my household if they seen it on average, but this one was just fair enough to where it would still be weird, but not too weird. Cool. So then there was another cup that I would have probably bought instead, and this is much more my speed. It was a girl who had like kind of like a sides of her sides shaved essentially. She had I think a lip piercing on her side. She had like crazy highlights in her hair and shit, and she just looked awesome. Unfortunately, this cup was Meat Canyon's cup, which meant that the front facing of the profile pic on the cup was essentially this image that looked really cool. It was like this cheeky little punk rocker girl being like bang, and of course big booba, because of course it is. But then on the other side of the cup, there's another profile, and it is just her like a back shot of this cute little little rock and roll girl. But instead, she is in fact just nothing but cysts, slices, and gross gelatinous orbs and nonsense. It's Meat Canyon. It's a horrifying YouTube channel of funny and terror. Anyways, so with our idea, I wanted to draw inspiration from both of those things. So to answer Lone's question of what our cup would be, it essentially is. I like the idea of like, who doesn't like goth girls? They're the best. All right, this is just an awesome aesthetic. We don't need to get too much into my preferences, but I'll tell you the idea. You can draw in whatever you want. Basically, there is an image I think is so funny, which is basically the like I love thighs image that's always in every comment thread ever, essentially. And it's essentially it's this white disembodied face with just a smile that you can only really make out, and he's being smothered by thighs. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to do kind of like an homage to that, but also because GamerSubs cups now are having two sides basically, so you can have an image here and then an image on this side. I wanted the other image to basically be like a cool punk rocker chick, essentially, doing the classic anime. Some people know this, some people won't. The classic anime childhood friend wrestling move, where they basically like leg lock both of your legs and then lean back into your spine, essentially. That weird anime move. That. So I wanted that basically, and the cup's name, just to give you an idea of what we're working with, is called Childhood Friend Sandwich. So that's the idea. One goth girl childhood friend, the other one punk rocker chick goth girlfriend, and then boom, not goth, just punk rocker chick, and that would be the thing. And basically, our little shadow man is the person that's being basically pretzeled like this, head here, thigh here. Arms locked here, and this way, there's a reason for this, guys. It's not just because I'm a freak. The reason is because with the one goth girl angle, we could drop the camera lower. Okay, so it's a facing up shot. Okay, then we capture thighs, so we get the thigh degeneracy community. We get the stomach degeneracy community, people who like navel for whatever reason. We get a little bit of the face, like her tip back, and we get the goth girl aesthetic. I don't know. We can have some fun with like fishnet stocking stuff, whatever we want. Boom. And then the other side, we're banking on not only people who just like face, just like people who are face people, don't really care about booba or anything, but just like they like face. We're getting that on the other side because it's mainly like the face, but also because she's doing the leg lock with both her hands. Theoretically, in order to do that, you need to basically lock both legs and then basically tie her hands together like this, and that would be underneath chest. And then she's basically reaching back like this. So basically, we're getting the booba too. We're getting booba, face, thighs, and of course, stomach. And that is the ultimate deal. Okay, I feel like we've appeased 5 people. The only people I feel bad about is not appeasing assmen. All right, assmen. I feel like I've let you down in this one, but hey, maybe on the cup, maybe on the like if we're what do you call it, the flavor tub, we can redeem ourselves to some extent. Anyways, now that's done. I feel less weird about us just talking about this art cup thing in passing, because people are like, what are you talking about, thigh? What is this, some weird pervert language we're talking about? No, it's worse, but at least you're here now. Love says on Discord, do that. Lone says, I got you. Grin, you shouldn't have told them. Let them be confused. No, I feel like it's even weirder. If I was in the chat and I was hearing this, I wouldn't judge. I would feel disrespected by not being involved. Okay, thinking that I somehow would think ill of you because of what? Thighs and not being a part of the thigh conversation, I would feel insulted. All right, that's rude, and you're selfish, and I don't want you guys to feel that way. It could just be me, but hey, as far as that, guys, what do you call it? I mean, the only thing I really got going on today this week, man, is Destiny. Man, I've been getting really into like weird shit. Just like weird shit. You guys ever just getting into like some bad talking point after we just talked about thighs and shit and like kind of like, yeah, risque things. I'm getting into like I told you guys last week that I've been like really like unhealthily getting into like dome homes and like what is the, but it's like weird. It's like I'm thinking I'm like there's so much real estate about domes, like homes that are just like igloos. Just think of that essentially. But then there's like 5 different ways that you can build them. One is where like you fill up a balloon and then you soak that balloon in concrete, and then it's like a perfect dome essentially. And then you basically reinforce the rebar, cut a hole for the door. You could like make a little tiny like brick outline, and then bang, you have like a fucking giant house that's basically like hurricane proof, waterproof, snow proof, all that shit. And also it insulates really well, depending on if you use material that insulates really well. Anyways, but then there's like another method where people just use fucking bricks essentially. They just slowly brick up this house into a circle. And it's just a lot of that stuff. But anyways, because I started getting into that, YouTube, I guess, started sending me some like weird shit where it's just like, hey, by the way, do you care about solar? A lot of people like this weird dome shit that's like a $10,000 house opposed to a $100,000 house or $300,000 house. People also like this free energy thing. You want that too? And I'm like, I'll dabble. And now I'm into that shit. I got really into like fucking water energy essentially. Who the fuck has a pond on their home? It's just like, sure, this is kind of efficient and nice, but who the fuck has a pond in their home? And Nub knows this. We live in Canada. It would be like great for fucking 5 months of the year. And then you'd just be up shit creek without a paddle, essentially. So I'm watching that, really into it. Don't know why. It's probably not going to be affecting me in a positive way because I can't make use of this knowledge. But hey, and yeah, it just keeps escalating. It just keeps escalating, and then it's just a mess. What about you guys? Anything? You guys jump into some shit and it's just like, what? 5 months? Not 5 months. It's probably more months of like, yeah. It's fucking May and I still, yeah, we're cutting up. Ha ha. Ha ha, bitch. What do you call it? People, my aunties and such, who are living all around Canada. I think they're in like, I don't know if they're in Fairview or some shit, but anyway. What do you call it? There's certain parts of Canada that are getting like snowed on still, and where I'm living, we're cooking, baby. We haven't got any snow ever since it stopped like 4 months back or 3 months back, or is it 2 months? Might have been 2 months back. The snow finally stopped, and now we're just getting like little bits of rain, which is actually perfect for us because forest fires are always a problem in Canada, so more rain is good. And yeah, other people who are like a couple like not that far away, like Nub, I know where Nub lives. He's not that far away from me. He's getting snowed on, and that's fucking hilarious. And I'm like literally like maybe. I don't want to dox myself, but needless to say, Nub could easily drive to me within a day. So yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy that we're like that close to each other, and yet Nub is getting snowed on. And I'm just sitting here like it's sunny out right now. It looks beautiful. It looks great. No, Alone says. Listen, we can't appease everyone. Like some people are gonna be left out here. Nah, not when it's a little up to get you up to speed. It's fucking May and I still have snow, and snow starts in fucking October. It's sunny today, but we had fucking snow for like 2 days straight. As my auntie was saying too. We just had nice drizzle of snow, a little water. I always prefer water over snow, man. Whew. Not that I don't like snow. I always hope we get there's some block of time where you get snow, essentially. But to have mostly rain all year, that'd be the best. People in London got it good. Anifan says, getting a raid team on Destiny is either hard or close to impossible unless if you consider having 5 friends to play. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that sucks about Destiny a little bit is just that like you do need essentially like 5 people uh, for like a solid 2 to 3 to 4 hours, depending on probably more like 3 hours. Um, 2 hours if you're probably really good at the game and you're efficient to like run raids essentially. And to have like all of those 5 people like locked in for that long is crazy. And I'm happy that it does seem like Destiny has eased up on its like fervent. It used to tie like certain legendary exotic quests like doing the raid, so you'd be like a solo player and you'd be like grinding through Destiny, be like, oh my god, I'm about to get this really cool weapon, and then it would be like you get to like the 7th task out of 10, you're like, oh my god, I'm almost there, and it'd be like complete the raid with this much this, and you're like, what you just asked is more. I would have grinded Crucible for 2 days if you would have just said that. But instead, I have this one thing that, like, one, I don't want to have to talk to people all the time. Like that's one thing. If you're not a content creator like me who is just benefiting from people who are already playing the game and are very sweet, like Fluff and Red and Raid, um, yeah, it's like you're gonna have to go onto forums and like ask people, hey, do you want to party out with me? And then you're also raids are made to basically be like tests of friendship essentially, where like you'll find out really quick what friend is vindictive and evil because he's like, why are you fucking keep dying? Why do I need to explain it again? Dude, it's just fucking dude, and it's just a mess. And imagine you're doing that with strangers who have zero built up goodwill with you. It's a bad idea. I'm happy that Destiny seemingly has won away from that. It still sucks at like fucking 80% of the new shit is like, hey, by the way, the coolest armor you'll ever see ever and the best weapons you'll ever see ever and the new exotic attached to it as well is also attached to this thing. And you're like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. You piece of shit. But yes, Lone says, no, I was referring to the cup design. Oh, I see, yes. The cup design not being able to appease people. Yes, but I also enjoy the challenge of stuff like that. Like I think that's what makes or breaks someone who's just like an artist versus someone who I'm not sure what the right word would be, but someone who I guess transcends art, I guess. No, I think actually that probably would be a good way of like, there's the false prophet of artists who are basically just extraordinarily selfish and just like make whatever they want and they don't care about anything else. But then there's a person who's like, no, I want to like take what I love and what I find magical, and I want to take what you love and what you find magical, and I want to smash that together and see if we can both be like overly overwhelmed with how beautiful both of these things are, and go through that. I think that's the beauty of the whole thing. So to me, like I really do enjoy thinking about like I could have just made a cup where it's like thighs done. That's my own like little gimmick that I don't feel like gets enough love, and I think it looks nice, and this and that. But no, I was like, no. But also, like to me, there's the thing that you really like, and then there's the thing that you enjoy. Does that make sense? So like one of the things is like I love the childhood friend trope in anime. I love it. It's always my favorite thing. I hate that the childhood friend never wins in any sort of dating thing. I also like the like I don't feel like there's a lot of shows that have like a badass girl in it. It's usually like. And if it is, they're still like absurdly like effeminate, essentially, which is fine, by the way. I don't dislike that, but I think it's really cool to see. Like that's why I really liked Meat Canyon's character, which just looked like a badass chick. I knew one of those people in high school, and she was fucking awesome. Loved like punk rock a lot, stuff like that. Super kind. So long as you weren't like judging her for like whatever she wanted to do, like whatever is like music she's listening to or how she dresses and stuff like that. But anyways, like those are the things that to me I'm like I also like that a lot. So it's like, okay, I like these things. I'm pretty sure other people deeply like these things because they kind of become tropes in our society. And then you're going to make all that smashing it together in a way that they would all like. And that to me is like a very fun challenge. It's almost like boxing yourself in of like, okay, how do I make something that like checks off as many boxes as possible for people who feel satisfied with the extent in which you've delivered it. That's like the shit, man. Lone says, Anime Fan says, if you somehow get a raid exotic, oh my nose is getting stuffed. If somehow get a raid exotic one try like I did with the Vex Mytho class, then it's gonna be a little bit easier. Yeah, it's true too. Yeah, it's also one of those things where like you might get some heat. People being like, I played this for 3 weeks in a row, and this son of a bitch gets it his first try. You kidding me? I never used to have that with exotics because exotics were always just like, so it's almost like the idea of you ever owning a mansion. You know what I mean? It's just like I can't even put myself in there. It's so far away. It's like stars essentially. It's just like cool glimmers in the stars I can appreciate, but could never conceive of me owning. But a house, would that be nice? So like to me, I always got really annoyed at people who got like god rolls because I would be grinding my ass off, man. I just could not get a god roll to save my life. I got one god roll towards like the final. It was right before I think the Taken King came out. And I loved it. It was a scout. It wasn't even like a god roll. It was just like a god roll to me, which was basically a scout rifle with automatic on it, so fully automatic, so it fires like all the time. And then I got what was the other one? I got explosive rounds on that scout rifle, and then also it was just a slightly faster firing scout rifle that also had a pretty good iron sight. And I think I think that was what it was. Its iron sight had like a vertical jump, so no matter how much you fired, it would always basically be in the same spot, but it would just have like a bit of blur to it essentially. And I fucking loved that thing. But then, of course, fast forward like a day later, or not a day later, it was like 3 weeks later maybe, Taken King came out, and that's when they were resetting all of your light every expansion. So like all of your gear just became completely shit. And you're like, what? And of course, my weapon, my baby, it's gone. I never got a good weapon after that. I never got like one good weapon after that. And it's so nice that at least in Destiny now there's a way to be like, I'm gonna get a fucking good weapon. You hear me, you son of a bitch? I'll kill you. I'll kill you where you stand. Nub says, I'm a lurk. You lurk, Nub. You get in them shadows. You play those games. You have hopefully Lycanthrope has gotten his thing situated and downloaded. I'm not sure if you proof downloaded or like scanned some of the things to make sure he's not getting got. But yes, what do you call it? Lone. What game would you want to be completely remastered? There's a couple games that come to mind for me, but I'm curious what would be for you. I feel like you're gonna give me some sort of obscure anime game, but what do you call it? To me, like did you guys ever play that game called Saboteur? It's such a good game. It's like one of those like super good games ahead of its time, super artsy in a good way. And also like just brutal as hell. And like, man, it's so good. Like a lot of people love Wolfenstein because of like the whole like Nazi brutality, fuck 'em thing, which I understand. But to me, man, Saboteur was always so much more of a game. Like so much more of a game. Nub says, I need food and I want to watch anime. Ooh, what kind of anime? Or animu? I assume it's anime. What kind of anime you watching, Nub? Nub says he going for the semi-legit method. Okay. What does that mean? The keys? You giving him the Steam keys and shit? Because that's actually probably better. Nub says, cause he's too scared about. That makes sense. I understand the virus being the sketchy bit of business. Did you give him like a key reseller that like sells it for $1 a piece? Because that's also nice. That also probably has the best yield. Although I do worry that sometimes you pay $10 and then you might get the key revoked. But I've never actually heard anyone that happening to anybody. Lone says, when you say remake, do you mean yeah, I guess sure, let's say a full-blown remake. Like modernize it, redo the engine, redo everything. You're basically just keeping the beats of the game. Maybe we'll add some missions and weapons on top, just as like a little sprinkle. But yeah, so let's say it's a whole ass remake, not a remaster, remake. What would be that game? And did anybody here play the game Saboteur? Or am I alone in that? Key real sales are worse than pirating. How? How is that? Do they cost money to people? Huh. Even games like Green Man Gaming? Because those ones you don't actually get like a huge discount. You just get like a 25, yeah. Also, it's getting games past for 14 days for 25 of the value. And then I gave him a crack if he wants to keep it. Ooh, that's crazy. I don't even. That's fucking the nub knows the cracks and shit. I only know that because of Sony Vegas, what a crack is for like a program. But yeah, the fact that you know that for like each game, you don't want to get all the cracks and all that stuff. Wow. Green Man Gaming isn't a reseller. Oh, I see. So there's different resellers. Nice, like a throw. Pop off, King. Ooh, the original Devil May Cry. That's what Lone says. Out of all the games he'd want to be remaked completely, the original. Okay, can I agree with that? I would love that too. But can we get the people like the people who wrote Devil May Cry 3, like the newest one? Can we get them to go back and like basically add to it? Because I do feel like if you were to really look back at like Devil May Cry, the first one, it's the whole point of it was to have like no story, essentially, to have nothing, just to be like, here's a guy, he likes pizza, he's gonna shoot stuff, he might be like an angel or a demon, we don't know yet. He's going off, he's popping off and go. I would like that too, but I want them to go back and like make it a little bit more of like a game rather than just like basically like a beat 'em up, which maybe we want that. I don't know. I do enjoy the story though quite a bit with all those games. He knows his stuff. I'm too old for the. Yeah, I know, like, so it's too much. But again, I think with things constantly going up in price, this might be the way. At least until things balance out a little bit. Resellers are shit like GT. Oh yeah, no, GTA. When you're buying a game for like $2 and it's like a brand new game, you're like, this feels wrong. This feels like a little not right. Okay. Not for me. I'm sorry to say. Nub says things like Fantical, is that what a Fantical? And G2A are not resellers, they are legit vendors. Okay, things like Fanseal and GMG. Okay, Green Man Gaming. Sorry, I thought I said G. Yeah, G. It's both start with G's. Got it. So those ones are legit. Okay, good. I was like, I bought mine from Green Man Gaming for like $10. I feel okay about that. Paying a game for $10 feels still like I'm getting a good deal, like a really good deal, but I'm not completely shitting out the devs, you know. But yes, but then when you're buying a game for $2 and it's like a full ass game, you're like, this feels illegal. This feels wrong. And maybe that expands just the feelings of it. I'm like, I'd rather just pirate at that point because it feels wrong. I feel like I'm being like observed or like there's a transaction that can be tracked. I don't know. I would want a remake of that. Anime Fan says, have you watched the Madness Combat animated by the what's that? What's that? I have not. Madness Combat. What is that? If you send me a link or tell me what what to YouTube essentially, like what to put on the YouTube search bar to find it, we could watch it if you make it claim, but it's fine. It's a stream. Nub says also at the moment it's Slime season 2. Ooh, yeah, Reincarnated Slime. Man, I still think that anime is gonna go down as like one of the best anime ever. Man, it's one of the ones where like the beginning is so strong. The first season is like so ungodly strong with like the gluttony arc and then just him like upgrading the people in the village and in the forest. So good. And then like I think season 2 is probably the weakest, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's not season 2. It's the second half. It's where he basically goes and like trains the kids. It's the second half, I think, of season 1. That one's okay. That one's probably the weakest link. But then the second season, where it's like you really are getting into like that like hyper evolution of like him building up his city, and then the absolute most fire thing possible, where he becomes like a fucking, I don't want to spoil shit, but like it's amazing. It's like a super big moment that they really make like, oh my god, he's a demon. He's like a whole ass. He kills armies kind of thing. In like a really like tactical way too. Like there's not a lot of blood. It's just like a little tiny like let's just put a sliver right through a heart essentially. I spat everywhere. Anyways, but yeah, I get that. Oh yeah, and Moonlight Fantasy. Nub, I really love Moonlight Fantasy as an anime, but I always feel like it's just missing a little bit. Like you know how like to me I think like Reincarnated as a Slime is so good. But like if I were to compete like Reincarnated as a Slime or Moonlight Fantasy, I feel like most people would say Reincarnated as a Slime wins. But it's not that I like it. The thing is that I think like Moonlight Fantasy has the potential to be as good as Reincarnated as a Slime, but there's something missing in that one. I really like that show, by the way. I consider that anime to be fantastic. But yeah. Nub says Slime gets weaker and weaker as the series goes on. Oh no, really? I feel like they pulled it back with the demon arc where like they're all sitting on that table. Like that to me was like it went up. I feel like it was fire, and then we had this weird arc where like they walked away from the village, and I thought that was a lull, and then they had like I become a demon, and then they went to the demon council. And I thought that was all awesome. Oh really? Oh wow, why? Nub says I like the anime. I could see the manga being better, but because to me the anime was fun, but it didn't have those moments where like to me Slime does a really good job of like slowly building up that world. You know what I mean? Like actually like you feel like the progression of the citizens of the city. He goes out and gets like important key figures like dwarves to help craft stuff for him. Whereas Moonlight Fantasy, it's kind of just like, we'll just do all that in the background. And I'm like, but that's the stuff I like. They do have some amazing stuff in Moonlight Fantasy though, which I like, which is like him basically like dying like constantly every time he goes to like shoot an arrow, and then because the world has a system where it's when you're close to death, you basically like evolve for the better if you're like you keep like basically barely surviving an encounter. So the fact that his heart keeps like slowing down to the point in which he's about to die, and then he like releases his arrow to get like the best shot possible, and he just keeps rinsing and repeating that to where like he basically becomes like godly just by like this one thing, this one loophole. But it's like a really earned loophole, I guess. By the end, I think it's just oh no. I think Moonlight is 100% better. That's crazy to me. That's wild. Like I could see maybe the manga, because to me I could see the manga being much better, because I think it would probably slow down and go through all those beats. But at least the anime, man, I don't know. The anime, I feel like it feels like disjointed. Like a lot of times, it's like, why are we not focusing on this when I don't think this is the most interesting part of the whole story? I don't know what you don't like about Moonlight. Are we talking about the same one? Moonlight, where he's an archer, he's got like he's considered a revolting monster, despite he just looks like a guy. To me, there's moments in like a Moonlight Fantasy when we're watching it where like they'll skip past to me what is the thing I most like about those kind of formulas about basically a person like getting a settlement or getting a town or getting a pocket dimension, all that stuff. Where what do you call it? To me, I don't like when it basically says, okay, instead of like watching him develop that, him earning that by going and finding like key figures that can really make or break his whole city, instead it just feels like it's done. How did they build that? In what way did he like earn someone who actually got like him to do that? Like, did he get a dwarf to like befriend the shit out of them and do that? There was some of the stuff like that, but it just didn't ever feel like it was satisfying in that way. I love the magic of his. Like, I love the whole like chain detonate fire stuff. There's not a lot of archer anime as well, which I like. I don't like there's not a lot of archery stuff in anime. They're one of the best anime I've ever seen. Not anime. One of the best stories. It's so underrated. That's why I should phrase it. Like, I always give it to everyone as like the most underrated anime you've never heard about. And everyone watches it and says like, it's great. It was awesome. Like a little harem-y, but it was awesome. And I was like, right? It's really good. It's about like this blonde. It's like this pinkish red-haired prince who's like an archer. He's like not like a prince. He's like a duke from like a small town. He's like the son of the guy who ran the dukedom essentially. And yeah, he ends up he's like a complete crazy good at archery kind of person. Like he can peg someone like from thousands of yards away, and they really do a good job of like showing how good archery can be about like taking out a specific person that's a problem from a far distance away while they're like engaging in like a sword fight with someone else. Stuff like that's awesome. Anyways, I don't know if I can never remember the name of it, which is shitty. Nub says he is living. He is a living god, followed by basically two demigods. Yeah, I know, but that's also the other thing where like he almost becomes too overpowered too fast. Whereas like Slime, it feels like it is. It's not. It's not that he's like underpowered really ever, but it seems like it's still like a limitation that's good. Like when Slime gets like basically absorbs a like a fucking 1,000-year-old dragon and gets like superpower essentially, but not really. He's still like the only reason why again. Slime to me is a really cool way of being like, okay, these are the things, like he died in a certain way, hilarious way, in which like these are the things that he is getting, these random buffs that you never really thought of. They're going to pay forward when the 3 instances where he is over his head, these buffs come into play and save his ass and stuff like that. Nub says, people just want to work for him. What do you mean? Like Slime? Because that's not the case. Or you mean like Moonlight Fantasy? Because both, I don't think that's fair for both of them. Moonlight Fantasy, outside of the two demigods that he gets, he mainly like saves their ass from a village, and then or he's so powerful that some of them, I don't even know if that's the case. I always remember him like having to do something to like earn them wanting to join his tribe, so to speak. Nub says in Moonlight he was overpowered from the start. In Moonlight, yeah, because his role was to be the world's savior. I thought he. I don't know if I don't think that's right. I think the whole point of Moonlight Fantasy is he gets summoned to a world. The lady like shits on him and says like you're not it, buddy. Then sends him like to a desert wasteland essentially. And then this one guy who's like the other god, who's like the moon god, is like, hey, we're gonna be okay. I'll help you out. His parents made a deal. Is that what happens? Is that what happens? I feel like we're talking about fucking, what is it called? Welcome to Demon School here, Maka. He was literally raised to be the hero without his knowledge. He himself is the only reason he is weak. His parents made a deal. They raised a child to save the world if they are allowed to go to Earth. And he is the child to become the hero. Okay, yeah. Now, what you never answer what I said, which I think I'm getting my answer. You read the manga, right? We're talking about mangas here, not animes here. Because to me, none of that was in the fucking anime. That was like, hey, I read the entire story as a collective thing. I don't know. Probably in that case, I don't know what this is. We're talking nonsense because I'm talking about anime to anime, Moonlight, whatever it's called, and then fucking Reincarnated Slime. I'm talking about them as their separate entities. If you know, like, and maybe that is the case. Maybe if you watch the Moonlight Fantasy manga and then you watch the anime after it, maybe it's like the perfect, like, oh, here's what this would look like, and then here's the fill in the blanks, which you would read the manga. We're gonna skip over that. So it's perfect for people who read the manga. Technically, I've read the novel. Exactly. What the fuck are we talking about? It's the most idiot fight possible. where I was like, it's better than Slime. And I'm like, I haven't read Slime's manga nor novel, nor have I read Moonlight Fantasy's novel. And the other one, how can I say that? And I was like, it's better. Yeah, the novels are better, maybe that I've read. So of course I don't know what the fuck those would be. All I would be able to say to this conversation is, yeah, I like the anime better, Slime anime better than Moonlight Fantasy anime, but maybe the Moonlight Fantasy anime is better for people who read the manga. That's quite the intricate story. So his parents made a deal with a god to raise a child to save the world if they are allowed to go to Earth, and he is the child to become the hero. Technically, I've read this novel. Pretty sure it explains it. Nope. I don't think it does. Maybe a little. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it explains it at all. Yeah. I think there may be like 2 words of him being like, hey, no, yeah, the only thing, maybe I haven't read it. Nub. Lone. Do you remember the Moonlight Fantasy anime where like there's a dragon girl and there's a spider girl and there's the main character who's an archer? Did they explain that his like parents abandoned him at the beginning? The only thing that's coming up in my brain is he appears in front of the goddess essentially, and she's like, "You're ugly. I hate you for some." She doesn't like him for some reason, and then she like tries to throw him into like the demon realm essentially. And then this other god comes out and it's like, "Hey, she's a crazy bitch. Here's all the power I can give you. It's not that much, but take care." And then he chucks him down into the thing. Yes, I remember. Yeah, but does he explain that like his parents were basically made a deal with these people to go back and like drop him off? I don't think that was ever a thing. I remember that bit where they're like, "Hey, you're banished," but I don't remember them ever explaining his lore of like your parents were friends or gods and they made a deal so that they could swap places with you. What? It's in the novel and explains it. Yeah, I know shit. It's the thing that driving me nuts. We have 2 separate conversations. I was like, well, yeah, in the manga, in the novel, it's better. And I'm like, I'm sure it is, but we're talking about two different things. Could not be further from apart. For me, I was saying, have you read the manga, or you watched the anime? There we go. You watched the anime. Do you think the anime is done really well compared to the manga? Because I hope that I think the anime is probably like the manga is written really well, and then the anime is basically written for people who like the manga. Lone says, Grin, I'd have to rewatch it to be sure, but I believe so. Really? Okay, maybe I'm the one who's psychotic though. I thought they did a yeah. All I remember, maybe I just don't remember that as being a dominant thing. Well, also, I don't really know why that would matter though. Like to me, if we are comparing reincarnated slime story to that, the idea that you're basically raised to be a hero and then traded places with your parents and stuff isn't as cool as I saved my best friend from getting shanked as I pleaded with him to destroy my PC, and as I die bleeding out as like a 40-year-old virgin or something like that. This weird AI thing basically gave me a bunch of buffs based on my last ramblings, and then I got reincarnated not as a man, not as a son of a hero, but instead as a slime. I find that premise to be much more interesting than I'm a hero. My parents raised me to be a hero, and I'm good. I'm a kind, good soul. Then I'm a fucking slime, man. What is that? That is bullshit. I would do my best. I've read both novels. In the novel, it explained way later. I think the anime as well as it could be. Okay, that makes sense. I feel like that would make much more sense for like them to explain event, because that's what I remember from the anime. I remember the anime being like, hey, like there's alluding to stuff like where your parents existed in this world, and he's like, what? How the hell did that happen? Because he meets some people who are like, you look similar. You look like something I've seen before. Someone I've seen before. Um, Also, anime says just type madness combat. It's all sum up in one world. Madness. I'm just pure death. I would say it's a little weird, but not too much. The soundtrack is good too. Okay, I'll look that up in a minute. Anime. I'm kind of terrified to look that up. Um, it skipped a lot though. Sorry, I think the anime as well as it could be it skipped a lot though, but the skipped parts are mostly irrelevant, just flavor, a filler. You know what? I'm going to ruin slime for you. Spoiler incoming. You have 10 seconds to tell me no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Does everyone die at the end? Because everyone died at the end. You told me this. You told me this, nub. Why is that bad? Why is that a bad thing? I don't want to say the Nub's text out loud, but why is that a bad thing? You did. You did. I remember we talked about slime beforehand, and of course you were like, it's the worst. And I'm like, why? And you said that. I think at the time I was like, why is that bad? What about that is not fun? Two people got reincarnated. That makes all sense. Also, I really like the voice. The like, yeah, the person who's, yeah. Anime says madness combat starts off slow and then ends up being amazing at the end. Okay. Uh, Let me look. Oh, what it is? Oh, my body. I'm so sore. My abs. Oh, do that weird breathing stuff. Oh, I can't believe how much it taxates your abs. Oh, it's not like I'm doing crunches or some shit either. Oh. Full face cam. All right, madness combat. Watch it just be like gore. And I'm just like, please no. Oh, I know this one. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, it's like Newground shit. Yeah, man. I know what this is. It's like deep. Is this a? I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to watch too much of this. But yeah, I'll show you guys real quick. Yeah, this is the classic like Newground shit. Remember this? This shit's wild. This is also like in the era of like what is it called, man? The goddamn like stick fighting shows. Like those are always fun too. But yeah, I know what you mean. Those are fun. I think they're good too. Yeah, that's a blast from the past for me. I feel old and shit. I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. Oh. Did I? Okay, slime becoming an. That sounds awesome. Why is that wrong? Slime becomes an. And then himself. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Why is that bad? Oh, and then. That makes sense. Why is that not? It sounds like a really convoluted way of basically having like a good ending, where it's like, okay, I'm going to put myself here and then also put myself here and then be able to have basically both people be happy. I don't hate that as much as like everyone's dies, sad, the end. Nub says, I do not apologize. I don't like it. I don't really think it's bad or good. To me, it seems like an ending. And it seems like an ending that, like, yeah, with the whole convoluted craziness of like, hey, there's a subliminal thing with this like sage in your brain. What happened with that? Why that explains why the sage is there in the first place. That's neat. And then the idea of how to basically make it so that he can go back to his world as well as live, or maybe not live. I'm not sure what the ending really implies. It basically implies that he is basically like in the world, or a very controlling figure in the world, and then also gets to have his like day-to-day life. Especially considering they already kind of cue you up with that, to where like the great sage, his like demon mode form, or whatever, is already very like numb and almost godlike, like numbness. Does that make sense? So yeah, that to me levels out. You should watch Oshi no Ko. What is that? What is that? What's the normal name of that? Just watch episode 1. I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay, it's probably depressing as shit. What is it? Oshi no Ko. Is that sounds like that? Fucking. I'm not sure if it's that one weird one where like it's like a death loop. Anyways, Lone says repost. Also, Grin. As always, I got some stuff. I want to hit me with that Nikita stuff right now. Boom, fast as hell. Fire off. I got some new. Oh, and the art. Yeah, we'll check the art as well. Nub says English title is Favorite Idol. Why do you want me to watch that one? Why? What is the reason? Especially after just me reading this, and you're like, how do you like that? And you're like, well, watch this. Nub, I want you to watch, for little old me, Kaiji number 9, or is it 8? I think it's 9. Watch that for me. Let me know how it is. Also, Lone, how was Fallout? I never got to ask you. I never got a follow up by that. How was Fallout? Was it good? No reason, you lying bitch. You lying bitch, Nub. It's 8. What does that mean? Oh, it's Kaiji number 8? Okay, it's Kaiji number 8. Okay. Yeah, okay, well, let's check out Lone's art. Oh my god, my body. Ugh. Ladies and gentlemen, let us. Oh, every time I get up, my body's like, oh, it's because I'm doing VR and stuff, man. They need to find a way to make VR less taxing on the body. Just like strap me into a harness. I still haven't seen anyone who makes like the Zero suit or whatever that thing is that I showed you guys a while back. I think someone would make it. Destiny that. Where's Lone? There. Let's go to art. No, it's this. Ooh, somebody messaged me in the hub tab I didn't see. Oh, it was Nub. Oh, shit. Nub says, I thought you were exaggerating, but holy shit, the mic for the headset is so bad for making videos, and shit is is picking up PC. That's so funny. See Nub's message like fucking 5 months later being like, it's bad. Is it the art tab that it'd be? It is. Ooh-wee. Who is the other one? Is that your sister or something? But this is Nub's, not Nub's, Lone's art. I don't know who these characters are alone, but they look pretty good. This is your digital art, which you have a little bit less experience with. So, yeah. But what do you call it? The Booba Press, pretty clean. Honestly, it's crazy you got the tattoos of like little butterflies there. I like that a lot. But I will say, man, what do you call it? The side profiles seem difficult to do, especially the nose. I'm sure you're using like a, what do you call it? Like an image to see, but the nose bit, that just seems difficult to pull off. And I bet it's because maybe there's like shadowing that needs to happen to make it look like less like it's following the kind of bridge of her head, essentially. Like the hair looks like it all's falling forward. You need to like pull, like you know how you did with Yor, where she has these little tiny pieces coming out. But yeah, I feel like that maybe is what the thing is, because that's the only thing that comes out. Like this looks great, but this bit is where my eyes pull into, and it's like, why is this curving up? But otherwise, Lone looks really nice. I like the overall outfits. Look cute, look nice. And yes, let us also. I'll wait for you to message the other thing. We'll jump back to this. It was so hot. But I like it. I like it. I like Yor's character is always fun when it draws. But also, I think maybe that's Spike's Family too. Spike's Family has more of like a blocky kind of thing, which I think plays like a lot with lighting. So like the reason why Spike's Family looks as good as it does is because it has like really simple, like classic anime kind of like lines and such. But then they have like pretty decent lighting where it almost feels like, even though it's quite not that much detail, not that much variance, that lighting I think helps a lot with making it kind of look different. I cannot watch Oshinoko. You should watch it to learn why. Why, Nub? What is it? You clearly, 100% there's something going on with it. What is what? Why? I cannot watch Oshinoko. Why? What is it about? Unless you start telling me why, I have no reason to watch. I have 1,000 animes to watch. Oh, sorry. Anime fan says, I'm a leap. Phone on charger. My dad has long side quests for me. Okay. Have fun, anime fan. Hopefully we can see each other again. I might be streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'll probably leave it up to fate. Hopefully we'll have some time, but we'll see. You'll learn why if you watch. I don't want to spend my time learning why. What if I learn information I just have no point to learn? The show is about a guy who gets reincarnated. And it's about an idol? English title is My Favorite Idol. Does he get reincarnated as his favorite idol? Nub? What is wrong with you? No. Why? Hell no. I don't want to watch that. I would much rather watch the one that Lone suggested me, which is a complicated as hell, hilarious anime about how two bros get isekai'd into a fantasy world, but one of them happens to be a girl now, and then there's weird tension ensuing, and I think that's fucking hilarious. And Lone got back to me and said it was pretty funny. Nub says, no, he gets reincarnated as her baby. Okay. All right. Is it like in the past? Like what? Or is it? Why? Don't tell me it gets weird. It gets like weirdly sexual in moments because they always do that weird shit with anime, and you're like, this is just make a show where a guy is charming and like gets the girl, and then you can go pop off like that, King. Why do you gotta make it gross? All right. The difference between people being out here and then it doesn't get weird. Don't worry. Okay. Well, what the heck is just what? It's very wholesome. No, I don't trust you at all. The fact that you capitalized very wholesome and the premise is the guy's does he sue himself and then he like this is like the person that he likes is nurturing him. It still feels weird because he's a grown man. It feels very strange. Episode 1 is a setup. Episode 2 sets up the whole thing. I think this is what Noah was telling us about a little while ago. Golly. It's Yori and D from Nikita. Oh, okay, from Nikita. Gotcha. I was wondering who that was. I thought maybe it was like a person that came up in the Spike's Family anime that was like, ooh, this is a little thing. This is her sister maybe or something. She only has a brother, I guess. So who knows? But could have been someone else. What do you call it? You've watched all seasons of Spy X Family. Have they gone to a point where like they've even addressed how like one like the like Yor is essentially like a murderer and how the main guy feels about that, or have they still just completely remained like completely blackout from both of them? Because that's something I don't know how they're gonna do with the anime, because they like apparently in the anime like Yor straight up is just like violent murderer, kills everyone kind of thing, and like anybody really. So to me, I want to know how they handle that. About like, hey, what happens when the husband finds out about it? What happens when the kid maybe finds out about it? What is that? What goes on there? You know, because I feel like it's the show. I hope the show does handle it. Like I don't want them to be like, oh, he's just okay with it. He's just totally okay with it. I could see him like I hope he has some emotions. Like this is a lot. Like you should probably stop. Just go to town. Nub says, I watched a review of the series and I was so confused as to why the video was omitting one of the most important characters. And at the end, he basically explains the whole reason why he left the idol as the last part of it. I'm just trying. I don't have enough pieces, and the more I learn, the more I just get disappointed by what the premise is. Then I'm just like, it seems like one of those mindfuck anime that doesn't have a payoff at the end. You're kind of just like, poison, brain rot. I will say one of the anime that I actually, well, it was weird. It was like a manhwa recap, but it wasn't a manhwa. It was like a novel. And to me, I thought this is like a very compelling story from like a drama perspective. It had me locked in the whole time. But the premise is basically, dude is sick his whole life. He's bedridden for most of his life. Finally, he's like age 30 something, and he's about to die. And as he dies, he basically regrets it. And he wants to go. He wish he could live a little bit longer. He didn't get to do a lot of stuff. He never got to fall in love with all those things. Anyways, he dies. He ends up waking up, coming to, but he looks down at his hands, and he's in this disheveled apartment, and he looks up and he sees this girl, basically like body blocking him from this little girl, holding a knife at him, and she's beaten to shit. She's got like bandages on her face, and she's basically like, "You stay away from us." You like no. And then immediately, like within a couple seconds, all of the memories start flooding into his brains of the character he just possessed, essentially. And that person was basically like a horrible monster. He was like he was a part of like a boy band pop group, essentially. But then gets into drinking, never was able to really make it, and then he ends up marrying this other pop idol. They end up having a kid, but he gets extraordinarily abusive, like just violently abusive, beats the shit out of her every day, hurts his kid, all that stuff. And then the premise to me is like a really beautiful story about like redemption almost, but it's not even like you necessarily your redemption, because the main dude is basically like, from that moment going on, he basically starts to like, he cleans up the apartment, he ends up taking care of them, he like throws up in the toilet like 5 times because he keeps seeing images of his not past self, but like this guy, from his perspective of like beating his kids and shit. He feels so terrible about it, but eventually, because he has knowledge of the future as well, or not knowledge of the future, it's like a different dimension almost. But because he basically goes to a different dimension, but it's very similar to his world, he basically just Google searches like popular songs, and he finds out that none of them exist in this world. So then he just remakes those new songs. So he goes like remakes the Beatles songs, and that's how he gets a lot of income to then pay for his wife's whatever, all these things. And it's basically just like the most wholesome story possible, surrounded in like so much dread and sadness, but it's basically just like someone picking someone out from the muck and the gunk, and like nurturing them, and like he's a good dad to this girl. He's constantly a better father to the one person. He's kinder, he's sweeter. He ends up like becoming a renowned musician. Then there's like cool points of actual drama that feels substantial, like substance, not actual like fake random meaningless like anxiety that they're trying to give you, but instead there'll be like a moment where the people he used to go out drinking with, he told them about how he used to beat his wife. So then when he starts succeeding, become like a pop icon, essentially, they talk about how like, hey, he's a monster, he's a piece of shit, and the main character basically just has to tank that and be like, yeah, the person who I embodied was an absolute monster, like an absolute terrible person. That is what it is. And thankfully, like he's done so much good stuff in the past to where like his wife is now like a ride or die for him as well. And it's just a really beautiful story about like how, you know, he goes to like the interview about this like big music industry place. He like does over like an amazing job. He also has to like live with the trauma of this person's memories of clearly of him, not him, the other guy who he embodied, doing these horrible acts, while then also having to be subjugated to everyone thinking he has done those acts, which he technically has because he's embodying the person. So the person he loves the most in the world thinks he's this way, but it's just because it's so wholesome. He's just so trying so hard to like repair everything and going through it. It's a beautiful story. I never got to finish all of it because I had other things I had to do with editing videos and such. But it was one of those things where I was like, if this ever got into an anime, this feels like one of the few stories that deserves to actually have like an anime about them that's not about garbage. Like this is actually about like, can you be redeemed, even if you weren't the person who did the terrible acts? Can you like repair the world even if it's broken and even if you didn't cause it? Even if everyone technically thinks rightfully so you did. And it's a beautiful thing. Beautiful show. I remember reading that or hearing that because it's just like a recap. And at the end, he was like, I DM'd the video at the part where he explains the only reason I cannot watch the anime, but you have to promise me you watch it because I need someone else to experience this with me because I literally can't stop myself. No, like suffer with me. I don't know. I wouldn't ask you to go through pain as well. I don't know. No, but you can send me a link. I might be like, fuck it, I'll watch one episode one time or watch the video or something. If it's a video, I can do it. If you want me to watch the whole episode, that's like 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes of time I don't even want to spend on it. Oh yeah, life with the ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasies knockout. Yeah, that one. Lone says, well, Annie already knows about your and no Lloyd hasn't found out. Yeah, no, so I guess that's true. The kid already knows, but I don't know if she knows to the extent in which it's true. Like, she hasn't seen like her like fucking stab someone to death coated in blood and like saying, hi, Yori, or hi, what is it, whatever her name, Annie. So it's not quite like that yet, I don't think. That's a good point, though. She does have an idea of it. And she seems to be chilling, so like maybe the world's just different over there. No says, you owe me for not watching Dragon Prince. That's not true. I never said you have to watch it. You're the masochist that's like, I'll do it again. I'll fucking die. I'll go through the same pain again. Oh, Nub says, it's like a 5-minute video, but the episode 1 is like 90 minutes. Nub! No, that's just terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Hopefully Lona sent me the Nikitas. We'll see these waifus. Nub will have to judge them with me. Are they good enough for Nub's insatiable lust or something? I don't know. Nub, don't fucking Discord message me. You message me, you son of a bitch. Oh, Mother Mary. What are we going to do? Can I open this in a browser? Good. Uh-oh. I guess you can't open up a little like a link. Shh. Oh no, I just downloaded it. I got these 2 downloaded things then. I don't know if that's going to play better or worse. No, what if I get to the end of it? What happens? Fuck it, we'll do it like this. Okay, this is the character. Wrong button. Weird way to do it, but hey. Okay, we got a little. This is kind of cute. It's like a little priest, kind of like a little priest situation, more like angelic. She's laughing. I guess that laugh is specifically made. Not bad. The leggings, classic. classy, not too much grotesque butt cheek going on. Not really a thing that exists, but hey. Yeah. She's got like a giga staff. It's like a spear gun. It's very not right. I guess more like a, what's that thing that people ride on horseback? It's like a giant fucking spear. Steals my points. Dragon Prince. What do I do? You? No, it's about the negative. Whenever you ask me to do something, it's toxic. It's not like, hey, I think you'd like this one thing. It's like, watch this so you can understand how bad it is for me. And I'm like, no, please. Why must I hurt too? I'd have you know I've only ever wanted the best for you, Nub. Okay, also, damn it. Full face game. Alright, let me download the other video. That's why we have to do this convoluted weird way. Stop that, and then this. And then this. And then download, I guess. It's weird. I don't know. I don't like how Discord doesn't let you just open up a video like that on your desktop. How cringe. This is the other one. Video. Here we go. All right. Ooh, I like this one better. Is this her like ultra outfit? I feel like this one's gonna be a lot more revealing because that's how it always is. I like it. It's cute. It's like a little super powered. Why does she have like a gemstone in her chest? Oh, actually, this one's more tame than the other one. How weird. Huh. So I like how this game, there's like aiming, but like, you can only move like this much. Like, it's the most crazy shit. It's cute. Yeah, I feel like that one's more tame. More tame, surprisingly. In fact, her chibi one looks like it's more revealing. Lance or Grin? It's a Lance. That's what Lance. That's what it's Lance. That's what I'm thinking of Lance. Ass jiggle. Too much clothes. Really? Oh, I think I like it a little bit more. Mystery. Oh, shit. Oh, I see. No, it's not that much clothes. It's not that much. Okay. It's not that much clothes. It's not that much clothes. It's like, YouTube, please. YouTube, please. YouTube, please. YouTube, please. All right. Never mind. I didn't realize what that whole thing was about. That is a dangerous amount of risque clothes. God damn it. Stop hitting that button. Face cam. That's what I want to click. We also have just some still images that Lone sent me, but they're not going to be as blown up and as big. You know, fuck it. We're just watching them here. This is cute. There's a little mech. A little mech thing. That's so far away compared to the previous one. Hey, it's cute. You're in a little mech. Let's keep saying the same shit. Is that it? She just plops out. Oh, I almost stepped on my headphones. That's the Haruda King form? Of course it is. Of course it is. This is what we want, boys. That's that thick rear chassis. Okay. That's the peak form. All right. Someone say perfect. All right. Also, we have this. God, Jesus Christ. Okay, that one takes the cake for me out of the lot that you showed us thus far. Golly, the fucking thigh. We call it meat. Okay. That's also nice. Again, there's this. We always appreciate a more mechanized warrior vibe. Okay. Lone, I like that this one. This one to me is the bee's knees. She's also got like one of those cheeky little smiles. And yes. All right. That is our Nikita update brought to you by Lone. What would we do without you, Lone? Oh. Too much clothes, ass jiggle, like I said, is just 5 minutes. I watched the 5-minute video. For you. I'm not sure if I watched the whole goddamn 90 minutes. I could do that much for you. I could suffer for 5 minutes. Okay. Or whatever it is, 9 minutes. But I want you to text me how much you hate me after you watch it. Okay, now it's like a weird masochist thing. It's like a tell you hate me thing. How much you hate me after you watch it, because I know you will after you watch it. I don't know, man. And then the more you tell me about, the more I don't want to do it. The more I don't want to be like so disgusted that I gotta talk to you about. What's good, faces? Middle millennium faces. Hope you take care of yourself. You Yes, this is her awakened form. Shooting pose doesn't look good from the back. Faceless says, what game is this we talking about? This is a Genshin. No, this is not. This is Nikita. This is one of those games that Lowen's currently playing. A lot of Nikita. It's basically a game for horny people all the time. Bricked up, probably. Something. This is the Kalo and she plot an AI mech Talos. Got it. I was about to say, that one is the most cultured I've ever seen. Well, a culture. It's a very cultured game. Some would say it's only cultured. Some would say. Lone says, I had a feeling you would go for that one. Somebody fucking profile me. Okay. Fluff said, or no, Faceless said, also, what's good, Fluff? I didn't see you pop in. What's good, Fluff says, I overstepped. We missed you, Fluff. We talk about all kinds of things. Faceless says, they will be Pokemon. Catch them all. Yeah, man. Man, an ideal game would be a game that is just like, it'd be like, let's say, what's a perfect example? I don't know. Maybe like Power World mixed with Genshin mixed with Nikita. I would like the hunt for cool looking characters within like a world in which you can like summon them and use them. But I don't think Power World has like quest system like I want. I want like the like go out and do stuff kind of like Genshin. Faceless says they will be Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. Lone says, well, for starters, their streams would. These streams would be a lot less cultured if I was. It's true. We do appreciate the injection of debauchery every now and again. This is so much better. What? But I want you to text me as you watch it. This is so much better. You're a special kind of weirdo now. Lone says, in Nikita, you come for the plot. Very much pun intended, but the actual plot is very good. That's a lot of stuff, especially in anime. Like, a lot of anime is, like, again, one of the shows that I always look back on as being like, it's actually awesome. Like, it's just really fun. It's good. It also happens to be the most horny, probably, out of a lot of the shows you've ever watched. But if you were to take away the horny, it would still just be a really cool show. And that's High School DxD. It's always one of those ones where, like, I know it's got a lot of booba associated with it, but very fucking cool. We got demons, we got angels, we got like fucking ultra instinct gear things. We got like on the verge of death battles and shit. We got a character that isn't a fucking dweeb. Okay, sorry. Every other character in the world. Yeah. Waifu's GRINN. It's okay to say it. Is it a waifu? Guys, I feel like we've deviated from what the word waifu meant. I feel like waifu is meant to be a word of, I have this one character who, if they were real and we somehow, it could work out, that would be the ideal wife I could have. All right, bang, that. And instead now, it is just a synonymous with whore, or that's wrong. Of a person I think is great, a person I think is hot, especially all that stuff. But yes, I feel like we've deviated. You can only have one. All right? Everyone else is, what is the proper thing? Waifu versus, what's the other alternative for like these side bitches, essentially, whatever you want to call them? Thoughts, maybe? No, that doesn't feel right. Okay, harem dream. That makes sense. I feel like that's me out. I agree. We're locked in now, faces. P.S. The skin really is pushing the teen rating for Nikita. Yeah, that's crazy that Nikita is a fucking teen rating. What a lunatic. What an absolute lunatic. There has to be some games that just send it, right? Like some games are just like, no, it is a full-on Haruda game on your phone that is just so much. Alone says, are you talking about DxD? Yeah, man. I think DxD is actually like a genuinely good, compelling anime. Like, if you were to take away all the boob of it, it'd just be like awesome as fuck, dude. You got a character that's not a bitch. You got like brutal, like him bleeding out and like him fighting for shit. Love that. You got him charging up for like 20 episodes. boost, all that. You got these cool side characters that are actually awesome and compelling and actually like powerful as shit. They're not like some like weak ass nonsense things. If anything, he's the bitch in most of the seasons until he finally gets his head out of his ass. Yeah, we don't need to talk about like the kind of English dub guy and what his whole problem was from High School DxD. Lone says, I mean, in Nikita Grin, you can have them all, and Commander AK, you are the yeah, but it's not a waifu. It's not a fucking you're a commander then. It's a different. This is the other thing, gang. Is this weird? This could be weird. Let me ask you, is this weird? When you're sleeping at night and your brain's wandering and you're just like, hey, we're just thinking about random shit, it's probably cringe. If it's not that, it's about our mistakes in life and how we hate ourselves for making them. But when you guys are sleeping, there's this thing where, like, if this was a thing, where, like, some random, you got people imagine, oh, what if I had $1 billion or something like that? What if I was a millionaire? What if I had insert power? Something that gets gross. But yeah, anyways, with the simple idea of, like, okay, hypothetically, say you were able to have like a row. I like to think of stories a lot, and I think this is a fun story. But then the more I think about it, the more I think, there's a lot of moral weirdness here. But the idea is basically, say a person was really kind his whole life, and then maybe he just gets like a heart attack or dies or something. I don't know, whatever it is. Basically, the dude comes into like a weird room that is completely white, and you have a floating baby, something with a little wings and a little tiny arrow, essentially. And the person's basically like, hey, out of all these people, and he like shows you a bunch of women, essentially, maybe a couple of dudes, we don't want to discriminate, you can pick which one you'll basically fall in love with. Your destined partner, in which there'll be like two magnets. You guys will just try to get away from each other, but it'll lock in. And I always thought, because I like stories and I like to make things fun, I always thought, okay, well, say you're in this situation, all right? You're in front of a row of people you're attracted to, let's say that. And each one of them has like certain buffs and negatives. Now we're trying to go for balance, but it is balance perceived by this Cupid bot, okay? And it's probably its perception of what is valuable is probably by what is the absolute highest perceived hit rate. Does that make sense? So basically, say if you have like 5 people stacked up. 5, let's say in my case it'd be women. Boom, 5 women stacked up. You have a woman that looks like the stereotypical fantasy priestess, tall as shit, blonde, very well and yes, great personality, we'll say, all around, every way. But then you can like open up a tab and you can like see all of these fucking like substats. So you can see like passive trait, which is like a passive aggressive. You can see kind of bitchy, judgmental, rude to waitstaff, and etc. But in the Cupid's eyes, everyone goes through this one because she's just beautiful, whatever it could be. And then you have all of these other like stats. I thought this would be really cute if you took like what do you call it? Whatever, you could have fun with it. At the time, I was seeing a bunch of weird shit. I was seeing like I've seen a manga that was really fun that was about like goblins. So I thought, oh, that'd be funny if like it was goblins and Cupid basically perceived like yuck, goblins are gross. So in order to balance it, Cupid was like super loyal, really attracted to you. What do you call it? Maternal, very caring. And all these things just to stack the difference. And if you, the main character in this instance, happen to like be put in this position, you're like, oh man, the like goth girl, yikes, it's hard to choose, but this one, and then Cupid's like, well, I could, you're right, not a lot of people choose this one, and you mention all like the possible bad things, and he's like, you know what, I'll make it even better, and then they make it even better, and then you go in. This is a fun little stupid dumb story thing I was thinking about that could be cute, but then I also thought about the whole, this is where I think it's fucked up. If you were put in that position, wouldn't it be fucked up that you get like choose out of the lot of people in front of you? Like, they basically take away their like autonomy to like choose. Isn't the whole point that is like love is special and nice, that like in all of the thousands of options in the world, for some reason the person chooses you and like chooses you almost every day if you're in like a long-term relationship, essentially. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that the point of love? So the fact that you kind of like, you're like, I pick you. It feels very much similar to like the whole hypnosis bullshit that's in a lot of fucking gross storytelling, which is like, I'm gonna hypnotize you and make you love me, but then the person didn't choose you. You're like a fucking lie, essentially. I don't know. So then I ruined stories for myself like that, and then I'm like, well, this is just complicated. This is now just got infinitely more complicated. How I feel about it, how to make it work in a way that's not creepy, and yeah, and yeah. Lone says, I mean, Nikita. You have that's another thing I like about Nikita. There's waifus for everybody. Faceless says, Lone wants to be Nikita master. I respect it. He's true. It's very true. Lone says, Faceless, don't say it like, don't make it weird. You made it weird. I'm about to defend Faceless here. You made it weird first. Okay. As a perfectly informed thing to inform somebody about. Lol, I want to have all of them, says Faceless. I also do like the idea. Like, there's something like to me that I really would think would be cool. I read a lot of these isekai things, and it's always the same shit. Where basically like a person gets put in front of it's basically heaven. Like, you get put to heaven, and then like there's this random guy or girl who's like, hey, pick from these skills. And I would have always loved if there was like a character that basically was like, how much time do I got? And they're like, yeah, that's the first time anyone's ever asked that question. I take as long as you need. And you're like, okay. And then you have a character that spends like 2 days reading through all of the skills in like the thing and being like, okay, which one's the best? Which one's the actual one I can scale? Like a person who's like RPG build minded, who's like, well, if I get this, there's likely like a skill about this later on that can make this extremely overpowered and stuff like that. So it's the same idea of like you basically being really methodic about like picking the ideal skill, but in this instance, it's like your ideal heroine essentially, or your heroine, however you say your like love interest for this adventure or like realm, and then to have like all of them be just like completely different polar opposites essentially. And for then, I think it'd be cool if there was a story that was like, if we were just trying to have fun and not worry about the whole moral implications of all of it, it'd be really cool if there was a character that basically like each one of them has a percentage chance, or how many people actually ended up picking them out of the lot of like your heroines or like your love interests essentially. And the main character basically was going back and forth between like 3 that were not highly picked. Like, there was people who never picked them, and it's just because the main character actually takes the time to read through all of like the passive stats of like super nurturing, super caring, loyal as hell, and he's like, oh, that's really good. This goblin girl apparently is like loyal as hell, really attracted to the person that they fall in love with, kind, powerful as well, has like an XP multiplier or something like that. Like, that could be fun, where a person actually like doesn't just judge people by a surface level and then benefits wholeheartedly from that. And then you could even have fun with like the god that's observing them being like, you know what? There's a skill that we don't let everyone see, but it's called Harem King, and we're going to give it to you even though you don't want it. Goodbye. And it's just like that, just because the person has the capacity to look beyond everything. I think that'd be one of those instances where it could actually be vindicated and earned, whereas a lot of times in these stories, it's basically just like, my man, girls are just falling in your lap for no reason. Maybe you're powerful, if that's something, I guess, but it feels unearned, essentially. So to have like a character have this built-in baseline of like, this is why, that would be at least a little bit more like narratively sound, I think. Also, what is good, Mr. Butter? One of these. Alone says, Faceless, don't make them sound weird. Lol, I want to have them all. Steal Cupid's power and get them all to the end. Charisma 100% and magic. Yeah, that to me is a manga that I haven't seen done really well yet. Which is like the idea of like, what happens if you were like what is it called? But like, if you were given if you were basically weak as hell but like super charming. So like, I've never seen a manga that basically does the Fallout New Vegas or Fallout max out my charisma stat run, essentially. Like, you basically are always like not the strongest, but you always say like the exact right thing in the exact right moment, and you're like able to talk down anyone and shit like that. Like, I have not seen an anime. I have one that's similar, but it's like without even saying that like he put all his stats into charisma. But it's one that basically the dude's like a streamer, and it's just because he's streaming to like a bunch of like a fantasy realm essentially that doesn't have any internet, so he's like constantly streaming to them with this weird like iPhone thing, and he's constantly just talking to them every day, to where like, yeah, if you only had one person who's entertaining you for like in the entire continent, I'm sure there'd be a couple people out of the hundreds of thousands of people you're talking to that would vibe with you, that would enjoy you, or enjoy your thing, who you are as a person. Stuff like that. And that's a really fun anime, or manga. Sorry, it's not an anime yet. I feel like it'll be an anime very soon here, though. But also deals with like streaming culture really well. So like he's the good dude who is streaming in another world is actually like very charismatic and like doesn't ask his fans to like spend a ton of money on him, and it's very sweet and wholesome. Like a good streamer, which is good. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I'm so sorry we couldn't stream a little bit longer. I think we will stream tomorrow. I gotta go let my voice cool down for a little bit because we've been talking for like 2 to 3 hours. And then I'm off to go try to record these last bit of VR videos that I want to try to get so that I can be good. And then I might, if I have time, I'll play a little bit of Destiny 2, and try to get myself grounded. It'll probably be like 10% playing, more of like looking at videos that are like, okay, this is what the what's it called, the Brilliant or the whatever the thing we were doing last time with Shax, like that one thing, the Brave quest line. And yes, also Master Buddy, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope I can see you again. Nub already dipped out alone, and everyone is being so sweet. Yeah, I'm not sure. I want to leave it open, but I think probably it's Saturday. If it is Saturday, or sorry, Sunday. If it is Sunday, we'll stream. It will probably be at 5 p.m. at the very least. 5 p.m. stream, maybe. We'll see. Also, what's good, Bolty? We're just winding down. I'm so sorry, Bolty. You just got in. Malone says, also, another thing, Nikita, I like is a small details, the fact that the Nikita texts you every day, and texts are unique to the account. Yeah, it's very cute. That's very cute. It's very much like that. I think I heard people like automated that on OnlyFans, where it's just like this constant drip feed of like, hey, but you're really being messages either by a robot or like a man in India, essentially, who's like part of one of these like thousands of people messaging people thing. But that's cool. I'd much rather it be at least an AI. I feel like less manipulative. Lone, what server are you in? I'm in global. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Hope I can see you once again. We might be streaming tomorrow. A Destiny 2. If it is, it probably will be at 5 p.m., but I might surprise you. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do something later in the day, but we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, hope I can see you once again. And goodbye, my friends. I wish I could talk to more of you guys. But goodbye. But people relate. And yeah.